This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Why do I sing this? Hello, everybody. Big red letters, Alex, and the white letters, the Ramble. That's what it is, and goes until midnight tonight. From New York City, New York. New York, New York, the city so nice they named it twice. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, hello, how are you? How you doing? Yeah, I'm doing okay. I suppose. And it's Thursday, and either on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on his availability, we go and we talk to our old friend. Now, first of all, I have to bring him in here, so let me first admit him. All right, and then we go to our Zoom panel, and there he is. He's still trying to connect to his audio, but we'll wait. Okay, are you okay now?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a Jeff on me there.
Hey, I taught Jeff everything he knows.
I love Jeff. I absolutely adore Jeff. So, the fact that he always has trouble kind of getting on is almost lovable.
You know, he's had some issues in his life that have caused him to have some difficulty with certain things, and the computer may be one of them.
Well, he's overcome them pretty well. I mean.
I mean, he was not only was he a brilliant man, he still is a brilliant man.
Yeah, I mean, compared to other people I know who've had strokes, he's done pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much better than you.
Yeah, that stroke I had was terrible.
Yeah. So how you do it? I don't hear the first couple of seconds of you getting on after the promos because I don't want to do what Jeff does. So I turn off the
Well,
browser.
Nothing to say, nothing much.
All right.
I just another day of wondering why I keep doing this.
Well,
by the way, if you hear stuff in the background now, folks, it's getting to be summer or spring. And I need air conditioning in here because all this equipment is so hot, and during the winter it keeps me warm.
Yes, in the summer it gets hotter. I brought a fan into this room. This room doesn't have an air conditioner, so I needed to bring a fan in, which makes it fairly comfortable. But it's one of those Dyson fans, and they're supposedly not as noisy as a regular fan.
Yeah, well, I did away with my. I had to be very careful about this. Okay, so because I had to turn off the. I took my little refrigerator I put in here and I just unplugged it because whenever it kind of, turns itself on and off and on and off, the lights dim slightly, and the lights dim slightly when I turn on this air conditioner, and when I'm doing the coffee at night. And I use my coffee machine, the lights flutter.
Well, back in the day when
I don't want it to all go, so that's why I pulled out the.
There is a box you can get that's a capacitor, and what it does is it takes care of those surges for a very high level of electricity. Mm-hmm. We use it on sanding machines so that the floor sander maintains a constant revolution.
And how much do these capacitors cost?
Probably about $700.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, but it'll run your stuff, and you won't have those surges.
This business, this show isn't worth it anymore.
All right, but this show is very good at doing something.
What? Tell me, because I'm trying to give myself an excuse to keep doing it.
Okay, one more person got cancer.
What?
Tony, didn't Shecky tell you?
No.
Oh, Tony is got a 3-3 Gleason.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Well, it's over the borderline, right? It's where you watch and wait.
Okay, we have to explain. This is prostate cancer we're talking about here.
Right.
Okay, and there's a Gleason score, and
To the moon.
A Gleason of 3-3, if I'm not mistaken, is not dangerous.
No, but he's.
I had a 3-4.
Yes, but you're in your 80s. He's in his early 50s, and getting it in your early 50s, I think, is a little more difficult to deal with.
I think a Gleason score of 3-3 is not horrible, if I'm not mistaken. If I remember my Gleasons,
Yeah.
Actually, if you have a 3-8, that's to the moon, Alice.
Yeah,
So that's
right.
your Gleason score. No, if I remember correctly,
Mm-hmm.
they take the first score against the second score, and the second score is more important than the first score. But if you have an average of a 3, they usually don't do anything about that.
Well, that's good to know. And
What did Tony say he was going to do about it?
Well, he saw the results online and hadn't yet spoken to his
wonderful,
doctor.
wonderful.
Yeah. So instead of waiting for his doctor to reveal it and to help him through this part of a crisis, I guess.
Yeah.
They just automatically sent him the information, and it just made his life a living hell. But I told him, I said, look, it's, you call this show, you get cancer. That's just part of the deal.
Everybody here gets prostate cancer. Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah, we're.
And if they don't have it, they will.
We're kind of. What was that place up in upstate New York or something with the water and stuff? And it was
New York.
No, it was an area.
No, it was in Michigan, Flint, Michigan.
No, not Flint. That was the water. This was people all getting cancer, and I can't remember where that was, but
It wasn't 3 Mile Island. In
we're
Pennsylvania.
the internet version of that. So don't call this program, or you're bound to get prostate cancer.
Yeah, well, hey,
Well, I mean, I know that he worries about it, and he's really been panicking over it, And I still say the 3-3 is not bad.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
Now, I advised him when he had such a low PSA and it went back down. I said, I would get whatever you got as a test to determine if there was any cancer or the need for a biopsy.
I wish I could remember what the test was that he did. He did my PSA test.
Right.
That's a test, in case people don't know what we're talking about, that indicates that you might or might not have something going on. Okay.
Right.
But there's another test he can give on the blood at the same time that gives you comes back with the problem, what can I call it? The probability
Right.
that you have a higher Gleason score. A Gleason score above, I can't remember what now.
Is it 2-2 or 3-3? I think 3-3 is the border.
3-3 is the lowest, actually. I don't think there's no such thing as a 3-2 or a 2-2.
No,
Unless you're a ballerina.
And if it was under 3-3 with me, that they wouldn't consider it cancer.
Yeah, but anyway, so
that
what that was is that then said to him, well, I guess we better do a biopsy.
Right.
Okay. And then what he found in one lobe, I think they found some cancer, prostate cancer. And
on you.
Yeah, and so that's why they did the whole thing on me with the seeds and with the, radiation and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's let's see. You had that John guy who dropped dead in his house. A friend of yours,
John Rockwell, called the show.
John Rockwell.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed when he would call the show, but
and there's Ronnie, who's dead.
Yeah.
Let's see who else is dead. Well, that's about it.
but no, 'cause those are the dead, and then the cancer is you and me and a number of others.
I mean, the people that we used to have on the show that suddenly disappear, and we don't know if they're dead or not.
Well, let's figure they're dead.
Yeah, like what's her name? I can't remember her name now.
Renee.
Renee. Yeah, I don't know what happened to her.
Well, it was interesting. She was the one, when she was calling the show, that really pushed me to do something about it. I was ignoring it. I just kind of
Yeah,
compartmentalized
yeah.
the fact that I had the cancer and I wasn't doing anything about it. I was busy with life, and I didn't want to confront it. And she actually pushed me to to do something about it.
Hmm.
And that's that was helpful. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't any fun going through what I went through, but it was because of her that I really pursued doing something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wish the best for Tony. I'm surprised he didn't call me or write me, but he probably afraid to because I told him, don't
Yeah,
write
well,
me.
yeah, he doesn't want to make it a all about Tony thing. Plus he's having a hard time dealing with it.
Well,
Uh,
there's no reason for him to feel, something.
yeah.
You're proof of the fact that it's how many years since your prostate was removed?
4.
4. So you're going on 5 years. That's the cutoff point where we go, hey, probably don't have it anymore. You know.
Well, a year and a half after I had it removed,
Hmm.
it came back. I did have
Well,
some
no,
detected PSA.
yeah, but they didn't. Well, yeah,
They treated me with 7 weeks of radiation.
but very little respect, I hope.
Yeah, they made me pee in my pants daily.
I don't know why they didn't give you the what they gave me, which is the
See,
no, the cyber knife. I had the radiation too. I had the 5, but it's only 5 trips to the
well,
hospital for that.
this I think maybe it's where your cancer was located.
No, I think
Uh,
it. Well, it could, no, it could be the level. Yeah, yeah,
And also, since I didn't have a prostate at the time that they were irradiating me,
hmm,
they were just doing it in a general area, trying to eradicate any cells.
yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe that's why they weren't able to do that. But they knew exactly where your cancer was and exactly where your prostate
See,
is.
I happen to think I really had access here in New York to the best doctors around.
I think so.
You know, and I mean, I maybe too, knock on wood, too early to say this, but what they did for me was, I think, life saving.
Oh,
I mean,
what they did for all of us was life saving. I
yeah.
just didn't have the ability to do certain treatments because of the size of my prostate.
You know something, you don't want to take a chance on it, but you don't know, like in my case, whether if I'd done absolutely nothing, if I still would have lived to a ripe old age. It was just that it was there, and it could have been very slow growing and taken years and years and years and years to develop.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Especially at your age, it's much
yeah,
more slow growing.
yeah. I mean,
Dave Majak,
yeah,
he was 39 when he got proton therapy. You
yeah,
remember David, the guy in Czechoslovakia?
yeah, yeah.
And
And we don't know what happened to him.
his father turned off the electricity, and that was it.
But I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. I would have thought we would have heard from him by now. You know.
Uh, yeah. Uh,
Um, so
well, maybe he's in Ukraine.
yeah.
His wife was a nurse and living in the UK, so I think he moved to the UK for a
Well,
while.
I know that, but usually he would call us from these various places.
Yeah, I miss his calls.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there other stuff going on? Well, there's the baby formula. There's the Title 42. There's the Buffalo Dispatcher that hung up on a caller at the shooting.
Hmm.
The caller was whispering that there was a shooting, a mass shooting, and
Yeah.
that the dispatcher said, "You're whispering," and hung up on them. She was whispering because she didn't want to get shot.
Yeah.
And I wonder what's going to happen to him. That dispatcher.
Well, they've already been dismissed, or
Oh, really?
or put on
Yeah.
leave, or whatever.
Wow.
You could say horrible things about something like that, but the fact is that these people are dealing with stuff every day,
Hmm.
and they don't know how to handle some
Well,
situations.
I-
And
Dur- during my training, the first month I was on as a reserve, I was on the 911 line and I was answering calls. And a woman called and said there are low-flying pilots cursing at me. So, being me, I said, that's terrible. We'll send our plane out and we'll shoot them down. And she said, really? And hung up. A couple of minutes later, she called back and she said, I want to know your name. I want to say thank you. And I want to, commend your superiors because no one's listened to me before. So I said, well, my name is Lieutenant Bombolini. That's the only name that came to mind. But, she never wrote anything. I figured that was the end of my reserve career as soon as I said, yeah, we'll send our plane out.
Bombolini. What a great name, Bombolini. Yeah.
Yeah. It's it just came off the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
But let's see. We've got I've had something happen to me with the official voter ballot. Everybody said, Trump said, that there was a lot more ballots being sent out for people. I got 2 ballots. Now, here's the envelope for the second ballot. Okay, it's addressed to me. Mm-hmm. The first ballot I had taken out of the envelope because it came a couple of days before. I threw away the envelope and I'm ready to fill out the ballot and send it in. Faye's ballot is also still in the envelope because she'll just copy what I do. Mm-hmm. But I got 2 ballots. Now, I am not going to send in the second ballot.
And even if you did, it might not be counted.
I don't know. But, what that tells me is that there's mistakes being made with this ballot process. If I got 2, how many other people got 2 or 3?
I think if you get 2 and it's the same name, I think they have ways of they don't count both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're trying to be suspicious because your leader in Führer,
I am.
Your leader in Führer is telling you that the election was a fix, but I don't think the election was a fix. I mean, I'm not saying that counting is 100% perfect, okay? Yeah. And that we don't have different problems with counting these ballots, but nevertheless. I don't think that, and I'm sure there are always some improprieties, but they're not on purpose, I think for all that there is, I think that there's not enough to say, oh, hey, look, we really got to look into this. This is voter fraud, Yeah,
it happened to me, so that's where I thought it was an issue. Let's see what else we got. Elon Musk. He's now a Me Tooer. Supposedly, he was accused of sex offenses and paid $250,000 to settle the case. Do you think that this is just they're trying to smear him and weaken his position?
What do you mean? Twitter? He paid $250,000.
Well, we don't.
I think there's more of a chance of whenever they think they can get away with it, they smell money.
Yeah.
Okay, and he would just rather settle it than go through the whole process of going to court, fighting the thing, and so on. Just give him the $250,000 and just shut up. Even though maybe I didn't do anything wrong, but I'm not going to go to court. Try to prove it. Have it be in the press. Have it be a big deal. It's really, the only reason you don't do that, and the only reason
this is the reason
I would suggest he not do it is that everybody will think he's an easy
mark. But also the accusation is enough to try and slander him. There was some other things.
Well, what are they going to look? They're going to slander him. What are they going to do? They're going to ruin his reputation. Those people who already hate Elon Musk hate Elon Musk. Okay? Yeah. I hear nothing but wonderful things about his companies and the way he runs them, and people who work at them don't really complain about how they're being treated. The only thing I don't like about him is today he announced he's no longer voting Democratic. He's going to vote Republican.
Really?
Yeah, because he says the Democrats have lost their way, and they're not the party. They're not the party of nice anymore. And I only like parties that are nice. So I don't know why he wants to have anything to do with the Republicans, because they're anything but nice. You know, I can see why he doesn't want to have anything to do with the Democrats. You know, I've said this before. I'm very disappointed in the Democratic Party. Have been for years. You know, I think both political parties pox on both their houses. But as I said online today, however, that being the case, there's no way I would vote Republican. You know, ever. I might not vote at all, but I won't vote Republican.
Well, I'm voting for a DA that's a Democrat.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if I could find a Republican, I should add to that, though, that if it were somebody who was a Republican that I could get behind, that I felt was morally good.
You probably liked the guy from Arizona. What's his name? The POW.
McCain. McCain I liked. The thing I didn't like about him is that when he ran for president, he suddenly started playing the game. You know, the fact that he went out and got Sarah Palin, which was a bad thing to do. And he on the other hand, he won me back the moment that some woman asked him a question about Obama as a Muslim terrorist or something, and he looked and said, "No, ma'am. He is a very good man. He believes in this country. We just disagree on how to run this country." Okay, right. And I thought that was that. At that point, I went. My instincts about McCain have always been pretty good, you know. Yeah. And if it were him against somebody who wasn't Obama, because I liked Obama a lot, yeah, I think I could have voted for McCain. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list of Republicans, and I Googled because I didn't recognize any of the names for governor, for senator. So I Googled, what the recommended Republican Party line was, and I'm saying to myself, am I sure I want to do that, or maybe I ought to just look and see who's going to be the best. I don't think a Republican has a chance of getting elected in California.
Well, I mean, at least this election. I mean, you've had Republican governors in California. In the past,
but that was a different era.
Yeah.
You had Reagan.
You had Earl Warren.
Earl Warren, he was Supreme Court justice. Was he?
He was governor of California. Governor of California. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He was the governor of California, and who else? I think there was another Republican governor.
Well, it was Schwarzenegger.
Well, when it came to the Senate, you had what's his name? The song and dance guy. Yeah, he was Warner Brothers song and dance guy. And
Bono? No, he was state senator.
He was a senator. He was excuse me, a congressman.
Oh, yeah. He was the mayor of Palm Springs.
I'm trying to remember the name of the actor. George Murphy.
Oh wow, I didn't even remember him. Was he also mayor of San Francisco?
No,
Murphy?
No. George Murphy was a song and dance man over at Warner Brothers, and then he went into politics and became a senator from California.
Yeah.
I think for only one term. I don't think he lasted more than one term.
Yeah.
But
let's see.
Somebody wrote a song once. At last, we have a senator who can finally sing and dance.
Yeah.
But and you had Reagan.
Yeah. Well, COVID. Do you know in North Korea last week they had one case? Now, they've was it 1 million cases? I don't think they have 1 million people there, but well, maybe they do. But they have an enormous amount of COVID all of a sudden in 1 week.
In 1 week, maybe they
1
started
week.
counting.
Yeah.
Maybe they stopped using the abacuses and
Yeah.
used a faster way
2, 3. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, oh, baby formula.
Mm-hmm.
What they tried to use abortion to kill the babies, and the ones that they weren't able to kill, they'll starve.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah. It's kind of the Russian way of doing things in Mariupol.
Yeah,
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 yeah, exactly.
yeah. No, I mean, I mean, the whole baby formula thing is very sad. I saw a woman today on television who was crying about it because she's got 7 babies, and she has to feed them all formula. And I'm going, over what, a couple of years, you managed to have 7 kids or something? It was an enormous amount of, maybe it wasn't 7, but it was an enormous amount of kids. And I'm going, you selfish bitch. Really, if you have more for every baby you have over 2, okay, you're killing a child somewhere else on the planet.
You remember the Octomom? She had 11
yeah,
or so.
if you have them all at once, that's one
Yeah.
thing. I mean,
Well,
I saw a woman today. I saw a woman
That's
today.
probably what happened, because if you had 7 babies, one of them is going to be at least 7 years old, and you're going to be nursing a 7-year-old.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
well,
pretty
I don't know.
soon,
I've
42.
I've been nursing a grudge for years, so
Don't we all? But so there was there was a story about a woman that had enough milk that she refrigerated it, and she formed a group to where she would give baby milk, breast milk, to mothers that couldn't do it and couldn't get the formula.
Yeah.
And that seemed like a pretty reasonable thing. But of course, the
Fairly nice to
government
do.
saying,
Yeah, yeah.
the government is saying, well, it may not be safe. Let them starve.
So North Korea's got some serious problems when it comes to COVID.
Oh, really?
Well, they have no vaccines. Nobody is vaccinated in the country.
They don't have vaccines in China.
Oh,
I
they
thought they
came up
did.
their own, but it found out it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
So they're buying Johnson and Johnson and AstraZeneca and non-American companies.
It's about time that we started selling them the same kind of crap that they sell us. The stuff that
Send
doesn't work,
Trump over
full
there.
of lead.
He can negotiate a deal, right?
By the way, I just want to say right now that we have as our only panelists for our citizen panel the 2 most hated people who call this program. I get more mail about the 2 of you, not all at once. One time it's Alan, another time it's you,
Yeah.
from people who say, no wonder nobody's listening to your program anymore. It's these guys, and it's never both of you at the same time. They never say Phil and Alan. They say Phil or then Alan. I can't stand Alan because he eats a lot on the air. I got one of those today.
Eats a lot off the air.
That must be old because you asked me not to eat on the air, so I don't eat on the air.
Yeah, and then there's Phil. I get stuff about Phil. God knows I get a lot of stuff about Phil.
There's a couple of people that just have nothing else to do.
Well, I'm going to say that, yes, maybe I would have more listeners if I didn't have you guys on. That could well be, but quite frankly, this show wouldn't be what it is if I don't let everybody on that wants to be on, And so therefore, and neither of you guys, you may be, some people may find you repulsive, okay? I could even come up with nastier words than repulsive if I wanted to. But they repulsive to them. But that's no reason for me to not have you on, And I'd rather sit here with just 4 people than and 25 listeners like we do right now at this very moment. I don't really give a crap because I'm not going to tell Phil not to call this program. I'm not going to tell Alan not to call this program, And
Hey, just think of it this way: if I didn't call this program, I might end up calling you at home.
now I'll tell you what I have done. What really got to me. Yesterday I went for a walk in one of the parks around here, And I sat down, I turned on my camera, and I talked into it for 10 minutes. And I put it out on Facebook. And today I go over there. How many people do you think watched it?
250.
400.
Wow.
Really?
And then I threw it up on YouTube and got another 50 for that particular thing. But it was a day late.
The part you're missing here is they're not seeing your face; they're seeing everything but.
No.
No, I think it was.
No, it's just
did you?
it's only my.
do audio?
It's only my face.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they like seeing that you're exercising. I don't know.
Anyway, the point that I'm making is, I go, and then I come on here, and yesterday, what do we have? Maybe 150 people that watched the show, and I'm going, I'm better off doing 10 minutes in the park, once a day than doing this. It gets a larger audience.
Alex, an hour and a half is a big investment for a listener, and so when you do these 10-minute things, it's not as big a investment in time and attention. They get a snippet and they're gone.
Isn't that how Matt Gaetz got elected? He
but wait a minute. You take a guy like what's his name? The guy who's the big guy in podcasting.
The one that
Rogan?
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Rogan does 3 hours.
Yeah.
But he has interesting guests.
Whoa.
I'm not on Joe Rogan's show.
And you're not going to be on this one much longer either if you keep that
Matt
up.
Gaetz did podcasts to him cruising the park and going into the men's room, and he got votes. Isn't that the way the Republican Party works?
Yeah, okay. No. Jesus. For a guy that voted Republican last time, you really have sour grapes.
I do.
Hey, what am I griping about? What am I griping
Trump
about?
turned into a crybaby.
What am I griping about Elon Musk saying he's going to vote Republican?
No, he said that he's not giving money to the Republican super PAC too today.
He says he's not going to give money to them? No.
Nope. No money to the Republican super PAC.
I think he has a gripe. I'll tell you what I think it is. I think he has a gripe. He seemed to have mentioned it in association with Twitter.
Against Biden.
With what he calls California liberals.
Yeah.
Who have done, what they've done is they've gone after him for no reason at all.
That's why he moved to Texas.
They start criticizing him for no reason at all. I think he that kind of pissed him off. So he just said, I found that, that the Democrats are not nice people anymore. So I'm going to vote Republican from here on in. Well,
homelessness in California is up 35%. I don't think that the programs that we're being taxed in California are working for California. And so the people in office are just saying, well, let's raise taxes, and they continue to raise taxes, but nothing is improving. And so I think I can see Musk's reasoning saying, hey, look, I'm just going to move my headquarters to Texas.
I think he's felt he's been assaulted by the left when he has been a proponent of the left and has been a voting Democrat all his life. Okay? And he just feels, I don't need this. And why should I support that? But if you say that he says he's not giving money to the super PACs, then they're not going to get the benefit of Musk money. They're just going to get the benefit of one of Musk's votes.
The reason he says he's not giving to the super PACs is because Trump could end up getting some of the money, and he hates Trump. He would never vote for Trump.
You see, but and Marjorie keeps saying, "Oh, he must love Trump." He said he wouldn't ban him.
They don't get along, but he doesn't get along.
They said he wouldn't
Biden.
he won't ban him from Twitter, and I tried to tell her the reason he won't ban him from Twitter is because he believes that should be a kind of a town square.
Yeah. So also, if he's thinking about monetizing it, there's 75 million people that voted for Trump that
and 175 million that voted for Biden.
It's not the Jesus Christ, Alan. don't you have anything else to do?
You know, when Phil tells you you're annoying, you got to know you're annoying.
You got to know you're annoying. So, there's 75 million possibilities out there that they could be on Twitter. And if he end up, now he may be nibbling that deal because supposedly there's a lot of bots. Matter of fact,
no. Here's what they said.
20% of Biden's.
No. Here's what they said. I read somewhere, and I don't know if it's true, but they're beginning to find out that 80% of Twitter's tweets are bots.
Really?
They're not real people.
Yeah.
So that the reason he's backing off of his buy of Twitter is that he said if it was a realistic account that he was getting, that's one thing, but he's not getting a realistic account, and they won't give him a realistic account.
And now they're saying that because he violated an NDA about that information.
What is an NDA?
Do not disclose.
Non-disclosure agreement.
Non-disclosure. Yeah. So they're saying he violated.
Ask
the NDA.
Amber Heard. Anyway, go ahead.
But that's. I think he's. If he's a good negotiator, which I believe he is, if he can drive down the value and then make another offer based on, hey, I offered you $54 or $55 a share based on this amount of monetized people.
Well, with any company, you say you're going to buy it, okay, but before you're going to pay for it, you want to see all the fiduciary things, the money and how much money you make and how many people are doing this and doing that, so that you can get a good account of it. If you find out the company's been misrepresenting itself, you would be overpaying for the company, then you back out. This is only part of what you do when you're going to buy a company. Is you want
you change
the figures.
The price.
You want or you change the price, exactly. But
so if he cannot prove what you guys just said, and he backs out, it's still going to cost $1 billion.
So,
okay,
he's got it. He's got what 225, 250,
230. Yeah, 230 according to Forbes this year. In 2012, he was worth $2 billion.
Yeah, where that money? Well, I guess he sold. I guess Tesla became a very popular car.
Yeah,
Tesla and the government.
It almost went out of business. It was this close to going out of business.
SpaceX almost went out of business.
What?
SpaceX almost went out of business and would have taken Tesla with it.
No, what happened was that SpaceX wasn't that it was. Here's what happened with SpaceX. He felt he only had enough money for 3 space shots. If they couldn't get one up there, because if they got one up there and back down or whatever, just up there, the government would pay him $1.5 billion to continue what he was doing. But if he couldn't get one up there, nothing was going to happen. So he said he had enough money for 3 space shots. Number 1 failed, number 2 failed, number 3 failed. And he said, okay, I'm going to put my whole companies and everything on the line. Go for one more shot. And they did the one more shot, and it succeeded. The government gave him $1.5 billion, and he was able to then move his company ahead, and now has, I mean, if you go onto YouTube, there are a lot of videos of the rockets he's testing and sending up, and he's got this mammoth thing, the Starship, that is just, it's amazing how big it is. Okay, I mean, if this thing goes to Mars, they're going to be able to play ping pong in this thing. You know a good game of tennis.
Do you know that Musk actually interviews every one of his employees? And he looks for certain characteristics, smart, but ones that have ethics and just are really high quality people. And so he's doing a very similar thing as to what Warren Buffett does. Warren Buffett uses that same analysis when he hires, and I can see.
Have you ever noticed that Phil doesn't like what I say when I talk about Republicans, but if I say something negative about Democrats, I'm okay with Phil.
Well, probably, but
You know,
Yeah,
pox on both their houses. I mean, I'm sorry. I just, I'm so sick of politicians in this country, and who? Oh yeah, here's something that's happened. Uh, Time Warner, which then became Time Life, which became Time Warner, which then became, I can't remember. I think who bought it. I think it was AT&T bought it. Was sold to Discovery. You know, when I think of quality, I don't think of Discovery. All right. But they've taken over all these companies. They've taken over HBO. They've taken over CNN. They've taken over a whole bunch of things. And there was a certain worry about them. And I saw the guy who's the head of Discovery in an interview that was just done in the last couple of days, where he was talking about CNN and what they intend to do with CNN. And he said, what we intend to do with CNN is we intend to make it a news organization, not an opinion organization.
that would be interesting.
We want it to be a news organization. That's what it was. That's what it did best. And because we have some of the best reporters in the world, he said, and we have foreign what do you call it? Foreign reporters and so on. Yeah, overseas and so on. He says they had something like 100 in Ukraine alone. He said we just think that we have the ability to be a really great news organization and not an opinion organization. All these other shows, no matter when they're on, are opinionated. And we just want to do good news. So I have a little faith in Discovery in that respect, if they live up to that, you know. And then he said, we're not even going to touch HBO. He said, because HBO Max right now is getting to be a very successful organization, and it's doing well. And the reason why we cut out CNN Plus 2 weeks in was because we took the company over and we said, this thing ain't going to make money, you know, and we just did away with it. But we cut bait before we, you know, could lose anything.
You talked a little bit about Tony. I hope he's listening, because a 6 is the lowest Gleason score for prostate cancer, and it's the most favorable.
A 6, no, cancer. A 6 is a double 3.
I got
it. 3-3.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But it equals 6. So
well, it's 3. What I said. I said it. I said that earlier.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, but it's the
like I had score. A 3-4.
Okay, that would have been a 7.
That would have been a 7, and a 7 they like to go in and do a biopsy.
Right.
A 3-3 they wait and see.
Yeah.
Now,
do active surveillance with him.
Does the active surveillance mean they're going to do a biopsy once a year?
Well, that means the cops are going to watch his house.
Yeah.
Yeah. About every 18 months, they do blood work and a biopsy to make sure it's not getting worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he could live, and a lot of people live, his whole life with it never getting aggressive enough where he needs treatment.
Well, it could be. I mean, what I would not suggest him doing is what Phil did. I would not have it removed. You know, there are so many.
Phil had it removed. Yeah, but Phil had it removed because it was restricting the flow of urine for him.
Well, no, you can do something about that. You can do a thing called a TERP or something like that, where they
they couldn't do a TERP because I had cancer.
Right.
Oh, okay. But you know, I mean, what the hell, you know.
Yeah.
Mine's flat now. My doctor said mine's flat, my prostate. I think of it as a balloon that the air has now been let out of, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, you haven't said hi tonight.
No, hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, tough. I've been going through a little bit of medical change.
What's happening?
Well,
that's what I should turn this whole show into.
Yeah, I mean that's what everybody talks about.
Yeah.
You know, I take a lot of drugs, and I was taking one, and I was having let's say a bad daily response. In other words, I would be much more tired and not very communicatively able to talk. a lot of problems. So, and I had been taking that drug for a long, long time.
What was the drug?
I'm not sure of the name,
Yeah.
but it was, part of it has to do with that I have mechanical valves and things like that. And also, I had a stroke.
Yeah.
Is it a rejection drug?
Anti-rejection drug. Yeah.
Anti-rejection?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, this doctor took me off the list. Off the list. He said, "Nah, I think you ought to stop taking that." And that was a dumb mistake because I finally got to talk to, and there's very few people who are really experts on what I call brain chemistry. Okay. And and it took me about 6 weeks before we got an appointment to see this guy. And finally, he said right away, he said, he says, without taking these drugs, there's a very high frequency of having a stroke again. And you may be having what he calls miniature strokes.
Mini strokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you may not even know that what's going on. And I think that's what I'm at this point.
Yeah. Can they do a blood test to see if a stroke occurred or even mini strokes? I know I had a reaction to one of the COVID shots about 4 days after I had it.
Yeah.
And I thought I might have been having a stroke or some other heart issues. And they did a number of tests and they said, "Oh, no, you didn't have a heart attack or a stroke." Are they able to do those tests to determine if that's what's going on?
I don't think that
So
the
there's-
chemical stuff
Yeah.
is necessarily definitive.
There,
But I did have an MRI
Mm-hmm.
stuff the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm okay now, whatever
Yeah.
that means.
Yeah.
Today I'm kosher. Okay.
oh,
Yeah.
well, thank God.
But they put you back on the on that drug, right?
Well, they're putting me on another drug, so I went to pick it up the other day. Oh, sorry, we don't have that drug.
Oh, wonderful.
What?
Yeah. Hi. So, well, we'll have it by Saturday.
Oh, really? I'll be dead by Saturday. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Well, if I stroke out, I'll send somebody else
Couldn't
to
you
get
go
it.
to another?
That's
Couldn't you
right.
go to another pharmacy?
Well, I guess I can. You know. So the other feature that goes with this
Yeah.
is no driving.
Oh, okay.
And I know, Alex, you don't care because you don't drive.
Well, I want people to know I do know how to drive. It's just I haven't driven I haven't had a car in 15 years, and I don't think the last time I rented a car was maybe 4 years ago.
Well, you're missing the fun, Alex. I paid $6.50 for regular day before yesterday.
Oh, God, I wish I could do that. You know,
On the back of Phil's car, he's got a bumper sticker that says, "If you don't like the way I drive, stay off
the
of the
two
side."
things I feel bad about not having is a car and babies. You know, but I guess I'm better off right now.
Yeah, butt babies probably
Huh?
nothing. So I hope Tony's okay. I'm sure he's going through.
And
a
by the
lot,
way,
but-
for all the people that hate Phil and hate Alan, me included, if you don't like hearing them talk, call this program up and monopolize the conversation.
Right. Exactly.
You know, Phil
Oh,
backs off when somebody has something to say. Come on, and you
The
know,
only
Nobody that
problem
ever
is, the only problem is most of the people that call don't have anything to say,
Well, I
like
mean,
Alan.
if we get these, if we get to continue to get this amount of people on the show, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to keep doing it anymore. That's it.
when
I'm
the first
and I'm
half hour
serious
of the show
about that.
goes on with Phil, people can't watch the second hour or the other part because they're drunk.
Well,
drink.
it might be time to do a once a week like you do on Mondays. You got an evening and you got a daytime, and
I could do that, but
and anything else will be your walk in the park or your opinion or and maybe an interview with someone that you know.
Yeah, well,
Just put them up. Keep your craft sharp.
who knows, but this has got to stop. I mean, you people have to either start calling this program.
But Brian's watching the Warriors game. Once it's over with,
I know Brian's doing the Warriors game. Kevin has a school that he videotapes his school orchestras, and he's doing it tonight, tomorrow night. Said he might be back in time for the second half of the show tonight, but I understand that, and he's very loyal in calling. But I mean,
I came in second last night in the highest level judging.
we don't care.
Yeah, well, hey, I missed the show.
And we didn't care. We didn't care about that either. We had you covered.
To go back and answer Phil's question, that they have a test that they can for heart attack that usually within 6 hours there's certain enzymes in your blood.
Right.
And if you've had the same thing for a stroke, but I think a stroke is like within 48 hours or something like that. Beyond that, the enzymes are gone. And so. Yeah, the MRI is the most definitive way to look at the brain. And hopefully this guy that you saw is a neurologist, somebody that specializes, right?
He is.
And not some other idiot doctor that says, oh, you don't need this.
Well, I'm going to my neurologist on Monday for my
psychologist
6-month visit. It's getting very difficult for me to walk. I take walks, trying to take walks every day, and I get exhausted. I mean, it's just.
Welcome to your 80s.
Is it the neuropathy, or is it?
I have no idea. It could be.
You just don't have any energy.
It could be that I just, I have been indoors so much over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
That I mean, some days I don't go out because I think, man, I go out, but then I have to walk. Some days. I mean, I did a mile walk, 2 mile walks in the last week or so, but it's just like my legs don't have the strength, so maybe I just got to build it back up again.
As we age, our IT bands shrink, and as we age, our IT bands, which are in the legs, shrink. It's like the muscle or tendons. And you remember you said you fell, and the reason that happens is as the IT bands shrink, we start to shuffle. And now that's why I'm going to a rolfer, and they stretch them, and my gait has changed. And I'm lifting my feet now, and I walk like I did 20 years ago. But so that may be what's happening, and it's fatiguing to try and walk when you don't have an active gait.
Well, I'm trying not to shuffle.
Yeah.
So
I think what happens is when you're indoors, this happened to me. I think it happens to most people when you're indoors or after you've had surgery or something, your muscles atrophy, they shrink up muscles.
Right. The IT band is
and the more you walk, the better you'll get at it, Alex.
Well, yes and no. You actually have to stretch. Those.
What do people do that don't have your rolfer? They go out and walk and they get.
No, what people do that don't have my rolfer is they trip, they break their hip, and then they go downhill from there.
Oh well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, but there are ways of stretching, and I've been meaning to ask you. You said that Marjorie got those fruits and vegetable things off TV.
No, yeah, but she stopped taking those because she read about them and they suck.
Oh, okay, that's what I was going to ask.
But there's another brand that has both the fruits and vegetables all in one pill that she gives me every morning and every night. And I've got to say that after a month of taking those things, I don't feel any better. But
Okay.
but we'll keep taking them just for the hell of it. She wants me to keep taking them. No harm, no foul.
Well, they're on Fox News. They only have a few advertisers, and one of them is there's fruits and veggie pills that
they're on all the news networks.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, since you don't watch MSNBC,
I don't watch any of the other
You don't
ones.
realize they're on there too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's on Fox News, it's got to be correct.
Well, hey, they got the pillow.
Well, you know something though. I do watch Fox News occasionally, and every time I often have said, if you want to find out who the audience is for a particular organization, like a broadcaster or whatever, just listen to the commercials they're carrying, and then you will have an idea of who their viewership is. And in the case of Fox, man, they got to have people that are very old. Because
where's the Geritol? There's no Geritol.
The ads are there constantly for, like, as you say, those pills. Okay,
right.
There are ads for I love this, buy gold.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But you and they used to have ads. Remember, they used to have ads for reading ability. How you could, reading dynamics, I think it was called. Right. And I'm going, oh, wait a minute, this is Fox, and they've got these ads for reading dynamics. Am I to assume that their audience are imbeciles? I mean, they can't read, And
well, a lot of the Fox commentators are all coming out with ghost-written books. And they say, okay, well, this book is now #1 on Amazon and #1 in the New York Times. But they all seem to be churning out books left and right.
By the way, folks, if you look at the New York Times best-selling list, which is the list they always quote, and you see something like Sean Hannity has a new book out, it's #1. Look and see if there's a notation on the side of that. And in most cases there are, and I can't remember what the notation is now. I'd have to go look at a New York Times.
It's #1 for the book that only has 3 pages in it.
Well, no, but there's a notation like a cross or something like that. And what that means is multiple sales have been reported from a single place. In other words, what happens is Sean Hannity puts out a book, then his publisher goes in and immediately buys them all up. Which isn't bad, because they can then turn around and resell them to another bookstore, right? But then it doesn't take very much to get on #1 on that hard-selling, hardback book list.
Yeah.
And what they do is they just simply hype the sales. And the Times puts in there that the sales are suspicious, basically. I don't know what happens to my camera every now and then. It goes fluttery. But... anyway, so that just wanted to mention that for you folks out there who think
that's interesting.
Tucker Carlson has a new book out. It's #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Yeah, because they bought them all up that week. And what that does is that helps sales elsewhere, because people go, oh, it's #1. I'd better go out and buy the book. So,
yeah,
but they know that people are scamming them.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's interesting. I mean, they push the book, and I guess that's like when radio personalities used to do cruises, where they would get on the cruise, and their listeners would buy a spot on a ship cruise, and the guy would appear once in a while, and they put on an event or a lecture. And the personality would get a free cruise and a few bucks, and
yeah.
Oh, also the selling of fabulous hits of the 50s and 60s records. You don't see those anymore either.
No, you don't. No.
What was that?
Well, that was Time Life used to do that. Remember, Time Life presents the greatest hits of the 80s.
Yeah.
And they did that. I have no idea what that ever had to do with Time Magazine or Life Magazine. Oh, here comes Kevin.
Product.
Here comes Kevin. Hello, Kevin. There he is. There's our guy.
Hey, Kevin, I got a bunch of extra ballots.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I got a copy machine. Let's copy.
If I just check my mail often enough.
Yeah. The question
They're all
is,
for Gavin Newsom, right?
let's say he got 2 ballots for him. Okay. You know about this because you deal in voting. Are both of those going to both of those going to be counted, or will one of them not be?
No, once he sends one in, the other one's done.
Oh, I see. Okay.
How could I have ended up with 2?
Could have been an accident, whatever. Doesn't matter. Send them both in. One will get counted, one will get trashed.
Well, I don't want to do that. But,
That's a good idea.
yeah.
Go ahead and vote for whatever moron you vote for. You know.
Well, all the morons that are in the thing I never heard of.
Do you have a gubernatorial election going on out there this year?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And Newsom is running.
No kidding.
There are a couple Democrats that are running against him, actually.
Several.
Well, yeah, in California, you can run against somebody in the same party, right?
Yeah.
Not in the primary, but in the actual election.
In the primary, there are several. I mean, at least 8 or 10.
Do you think any of them have a chance?
Yeah, but there's like 40 Republicans running in California.
Well, there's not that many Republicans. There's maybe about 6, but I think they do have a chance because of where Newsom's name is on the page. It's not at the top. It's not highlighted as the incumbent. It's buried, and if
so
people
got to throw a dart at it and maybe you'll win.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
There's a system of putting those in, too. The way they do that. I found that out this year, how they do that. There's a whole system, and I can't remember how it goes. Every year they choose how it's not by alphabet, but they choose which way it's picked and how it's listed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a whole system on how they do all that stuff. It's not necessarily, okay, it's alphabetical. It's, I forgot, and I could find out for you. I remember we talked about it when I went to verify the machines and how they worked a couple weeks ago. And I went to verify how the Dominion machines work too. So they're on this year, buddy.
Dominion machines. Dominion's the one that's suing the My Pillow guy, right?
My Pillow,
Probably,
and he's also there's somebody else they're suing too. I can't remember now.
Trump.
No,
Trump's going after him because he wants the modems. He wants the modems. Show us the modems.
What do you mean the modems?
There are no fricking modems.
I know there are no fucking modems.
Remember he was calling for the modems? Show us the modems.
Oh, look at that! Look at that sunset out there.
Yeah.
It looks better in person.
Of course.
Yeah.
You have to be there.
I just drove home from
Some of us are there.
Yeah. How was your orchestra tonight? You were doing some high school orchestra.
The kids were great. They actually did a jazz band. My daughter was in the jazz band, and they did great because they only practiced like 2 weeks, and they threw together a jazz band. Awesome.
Yeah.
But my frickin' iPad failed me on 2 numbers, and I'm really pissed.
Oh, really? What do you use for a camera?
I use my iPad, and I got an external microphone.
Because the pictures look very good.
Oh yeah, and I set up an external microphone and hang it over the edge of the balcony.
Everybody, when you get a chance, if you want to, go to Kevin Stopper on YouTube. Just put in Kevin Stopper, and you will see a lot of those videos, And
push subscribe and mash that notification button.
Yeah, mash that notification button. Do the same on ours, by the way, folks, because we want to up our subscriber rate, and I only got 2 new.
Do the same right here for Alex Bennett.
I got 2 new subscribers for last month.
What?
So
You ever try one of these, Kevin?
No, I have not.
Okay, it's a recorder, audio recorder.
I've seen his videos. They sound fine. They look great.
I don't know why it did it tonight. For some reason, halfway through one of the the pieces, it just shut down for some reason, and then I started it up again, and it wouldn't start again. I don't know. It just crashed for some reason.
Was it out of battery power?
No, and I thought maybe it ran out of gigs or something, but it had 100 gigs left, so I just rebooted it.
Didn't overheat or anything?
Yeah. No reason for it at all. I rebooted it and it worked fine. So,
Wow,
but that was too late.
that's terrific. But anyway, so
Yeah.
and Brian, you were watching the Warriors, right?
No, they're
No, Warriors aren't on tonight.
Oh,
tomorrow.
Oh, then I put up the wrong background.
oh, okay. Get rid of that.
I put it up for Brian.
Everybody drink.
You should have had the photograph.
We've been drinking all show.
You should have the photograph
I know.
in back of you, Phil, that made you
Yeah.
lose last night.
Who said Elon Musk interviews all of his people who work for him?
Phil said that. Have another cocktail.
Drink again.
Oh,
No, I saw a
He does not interview everybody who works for Tesla. You know how many thousands of people he has
Yeah,
working for Tesla?
that kind of sounded ridiculous, Phil, because I mean, you can't do that if you've got
I had 2 drinks when he said that.
yeah.
They have
take a
hundreds.
drink.
Yeah.
I mean,
Take a drink right there.
how many people? I heard incredible amount of people work for Tesla.
Office.
Yeah, but Elon Musk interviewed each one of those.
You don't have
people.
to-
He
you-
had nothing
He
else
may
to do.
not
You could turn your-
interview
you could turn
people
your-
working on the line,
Yeah.
but
Well, but you just said that he interviews everybody who works for him.
come on, everyone of of some sort of position that counts.
Oh,
everybody-
no, but the work guys on the line who are assembling the cars don't count.
They don't count.
I corrected that and said everybody's position counts, but
no, you didn't.
Whatever. Drink.
No, you
Drink.
didn't. You're pulling a Trump. You said
Yeah.
something
I was
that-
watching a video. I watch a lot of YouTube, and especially I'm stopped by anything that has Elon Musk or SpaceX because I find it totally fascinating. They're building these starships, and what they've had to do is to weld them because they're made out of stainless steel, and they're welding them now, and they have a whole new welding process and everything. But they have some very professional welders they hire. for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to be certified in all ways.
Yeah.
In answer
he
to
interviews them.
In answer to Phil's question, in 2022 they have 110,000 employees in Tesla.
And he's still.
I think he'd rather be having sex with Johnny Depp's wife.
Well,
than-
yeah. This is the question. I mean, he's got to have time to have sex with Amber Heard.
That's what I was just
Yeah,
saying. Johnny
yeah.
Depp's wife, girlfriend.
By the way, speaking of that, anybody here been watching it?
I had to
No, I
drop-
watched you watching it though.
You bet your
drive
life I
Stockton
am.
back today. So
All
I-
right, I got it right here. I just
Oh,
looked
no.
it up. According to people who have worked closely with Musk, he keeps a hand in the day-to-day operations of every company he leads,
Yes.
including being involved in the hiring. Word is he strives to interview everyone who SpaceX brings on board and has a similar approach during his time at PayPal. All right?
But
But you
That's
said
different than what you
Tesla.
said.
Keyword strives.
Go back and look. You said Tesla.
no, he didn't say
I
Tesla.
said-
he said
I didn't say
SpaceX.
Yeah.
Strives means
Now he
strive.
said SpaceX, but earlier he said
So-
Tesla.
Who works closely with him. And yes, I would think that whoever works closely, if I'm a CEO, whoever's going to work closely with me, I would interview too.
Right.
Well, he says he strives to interview everyone who SpaceX brings on board and had a similar approach during his time at PayPal.
Well, to begin with, at
So-
PayPal, when he was part of PayPal, they had maybe
Very
5
small.
employees. Very
Yeah.
small.
Well,
yeah, that's why they sold it.
And then he
that's why
didn't
he-
say anything about Tesla, which is the biggest company and has the most employees of anything that he
Well,
owns.
I'm sure that's his approach. In
Somebody
all his
look up and
jobs.
see how many people work
You
at
sure?
SpaceX.
Okay.
Yeah, you do it, Alan.
I will. The other thing is Tesla is the largest employer in the number of people in the city of Fremont where I live.
There's 4 people in Fremont.
That's right.
Drink again.
Yeah, I think.
Hey.
it's in there.
Yeah,
Brian,
you're wrong.
I got this background right here for you.
Thanks.
demonetized. That's advertising.
Well,
Yeah,
there's a lot.
get that off.
Yeah, so SpaceX has 12,000 employees.
It's
A
12,000.
lot less than Tesla.
And he interviewed every one of them.
Have another drink. God, I've had 4 drinks on this stupid thing already. I'm gonna get drunk on my water.
Okay.
Everybody drink responsibly.
Oh,
Anyway,
hey, Alex,
getting back to the important news. I mean, have you been watching the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing lately? Yeah.
Only from your bedroom.
Because the only thing is that today I was watching it, and it's just running all these deposition videos, and that's boring. You know, you want more of her and how he, inserted certain devices into her vagina and things like that, It's that kind of information that we like to hear in court.
And tell us something about that, Phil. I'm sure you know. Musk was boinking her.
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
actually, according to this one person yesterday, when Johnny was out of town, I think while they were married, Musk
Right.
would come by.
Sure, why not?
Little booty call for Musk,
Absolutely.
So, it's a very enjoyable trial, and you know what I've found actually here, and I've been pleasantly surprised by it. What a nice person Johnny Depp is.
Yes.
I mean, when he shows up at the courthouse, he shakes everybody's hand. The security guy at the front door, "Hi, how are you? Thank you."
He's handing
for being
everybody
here."
$100 bills, right?
Huh?
Handing everybody $100 bills.
Supposedly, from all the testimony that's been given, they say he's a very nice guy.
I like that tall building. Is that Trump Tower and Donald's about ready to jump
Well,
off?
that's
What are you doing?
Tip
Trying
it
to
over.
avoid discussing what I want to discuss here, Alan?
that's the Transamerica Pyramid, and I forgot what's next to it. Is that the B of A?
By the way, I hear that Millennium Tower is still falling.
28 inches.
28 inches?
Alan, do you have a friend that owns a unit in that building?
No, he used to own in the Millennium Tower. He sold it, made a huge profit, and moved to Palm Springs and bought $2 million homes down there cash.
Do we know him?
No, he's not on the show. I don't think. Not unless you were ever arrested for drug sales in San Francisco. Maybe.
Next cop.
Yeah, he's a.
No, I always ask if you're a cop before I start talking to
If
you.
there's anybody out there who's really wealthy who would like to help Gabnet and give me a big chunk of money for advertising, to go out and advertise Gabnet and to
Well,
promote
Alan and Brian.
Ellen knows
You need a
somebody
write-off.
from Springs.
Alan and Brian.
Yeah, they need write-offs.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry, Kevin. I didn't mean to talk over.
Run for president, you get big write-offs.
Yeah.
Run for president? Yeah.
Phil Meyer for president.
So,
A national bestseller for 40 seconds.
you know what? Another thing I saw on YouTube is Netflix is really in trouble.
Really?
Or if they are, they're panicking. If they aren't, they're panicking. In other
I
words,
think they're panicking.
they lost about 200,000 subscribers. Now, mind you, they had 225 million. So they lost 200,000. What is that? It's a spit in the ocean.
Yeah.
They panicked. It was in a
Yeah, they
quarter.
might have to move out of Los Gatos into San Jose or something now.
Yeah, they have a nice place down in Los Gatos.
I watched a really cute show on Netflix, Young Rock, with Dwayne Johnson.
It's been canceled.
So they.
Really? I enjoyed it. It
And
was.
that's
it was
not
pretty
on
good.
Netflix. It's on
So
Peacock.
Netflix
Oh, is that
claims
Prime?
they-
It's on NBC.
Netflix.
Oh well, I saw it on Netflix.
No, it's
then.
not on Netflix.
Well,
I
how
started
did-
watching that Seville, that guy,
Yeah.
Alex.
Oh,
He
oh,
gets
it's
a
Jimmy
little-
Savile, that documentary.
Yeah, that one's pretty.
Netflix claims that this year they laid off 2% of the workforce.
Yeah.
And then they raise another $1 and they make $200 million.
Well,
Right?
what they're
Absolutely.
doing is they're panicking, when really this is not the time to panic. You don't panic.
I don't know if you've seen the stock market the past 7
Oh,
weeks.
their stock went down what, 40%?
Everybody's stock has been dropping like crazy.
But I mean, Netflix 40%.
There
Like
was
Brian
another.
said, they raised
Oh,
it
I looked at my,
$1.
I looked at one, I looked at my Fidelity. They sent me a thing. I lost $1,000 last month.
Yeah, not
1,000,
today.
that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at it this month. Unless it starts
I
going
got
up,
my quarterly report.
that's
That
some
was good.
really big drops in the past week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Last
what goes up, what goes down probably will go back up, but
Absolutely.
who knows when, you know.
Absolutely.
But now's not the
Yeah.
time now's not the time to sell. Now's
No,
the time
it's
to
the
buy. Yeah. Yeah.
Buying opportunity.
Ask Phil. He's the real estate expert.
Well, that's the
Well,
thing. That's
I'm trying to buy right now, and it's been very difficult. But the market is changing because I'm going to look at a place on tomorrow night in Pleasant Hill that has been on the market like 14 days, no offers. That's 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that wasn't the case, and things
Doesn't
are
the Mexican mafia control that block? Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Or is it the Hells Angels?
Yeah.
You should go look at it. You gotta wonder. why they
Better.com
didn't offer.
fires 900 employees over Zoom.
who fired?
Better.com.
Yeah.
This is a CNN article, and it says the CEO fired 900 employees over Zoom. So he had all his employees
Oh, he fired them over.
on a Zoom webinar, and the company is laying off 9% of its workforce.
What's the name of the company? What do they do?
Better.com.
Well, this is going to do really well for Biden. You know, it's not
The whole
gonna,
economy is screwing Biden.
you know, and it's not Biden. It's not Biden's fault. The only
Yeah, but
fault.
he doesn't
The
know how to
only
fix
fault
it
of
either.
Biden's is that he can't seem to correct it.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
know, he didn't cause it, but he can't. Doesn't seem to be able. Seems to be
He did enough to cause it.
like what?
Well, like
Uh,
what?
I'm going to tell you, it's the what he did to raise the price of fuel by limiting the supply, because he
By
was
limiting
pushing
the
his
supply.
green agenda.
Oh, and that's why he stopped buying a.
Well, I'm paying $6.50 a gallon for regular, and
yeah.
Regular?
yeah,
Yeah, well, you're in Walnut Creek.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Chevron,
It's $1 a gallon
Well,
less than Fremont.
Why don't you go to the? Why don't you
Don't know
go?
for
Why don't you
diesel,
go and
that's
blame
like-
the oil companies for that, Phil?
Why don't you blame Putin for
the oil
war?
companies are being held hostage by
Oh, really?
the government.
Oh, really?
No,
How are they
well,
being held hostage by
Oil
the government?
companies are controlling the price. They're the ones that raise it. It has nothing to do with Biden.
Right.
It's supply and demand.
No, it's not
He
supply and
opened
demand.
up the frickin' reserves.
Isn't it amazing that
That-
the minute?
that
Wait a
made
minute. Wait a minute. That the minute that Russia
did
does what
nothing.
they did, and we said, well, we're going to cut off buying any more oil from Russia. All of a sudden, the price of gas the next day zooms.
And that's gotta
wait a
be
minute. Let
Biden's
me
fault if
finish
gas
what I'm
bill.
saying. Let me finish what I'm saying. It zooms, but it hasn't had enough time to even impact all of it. What it is, it's the goddamn oil companies.
Yeah,
You know.
it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started bouncing. It started like evening off, and then started raising up again. And like I said, this guy down the street, I know he hasn't got a tanker in, but he keeps raising the price every day. He doesn't get a tanker every day,
Yeah.
but why does he keep raising it every day?
You know, so I mean,
Isn't
you've
there-
got to.
I got into it with the Safeway up here in Morgan Hill. They had one sign that said, it said 609. The other sign said 627. I went out to the pump. I paid cash. It was supposed to be 601. And then I got to the pump. It said 627. By the time I walked in, I go, why does it say 627? I should be paying 601 according to the sign on the street. Then I went back out to the pump. It said 610. I walked back in and I go, what's going on? They said, oh, that's all corporate controlled. I said, no. You don't understand.
Uh-huh.
I paid you $130. I want to pay 601 in cash because that's what it says on the sign. And you can't charge me any different than what it says on the sign. Well, that's corporate control. I said, I was in the gas business with my father for 40 years. You can't tell me that's wrong. You're wrong. And I took pictures of 3 different signs and 3 different pumps. And I even talked to the guy afterwards people were getting pissed off at me, but oh well.
What did they do for you?
They
What-
did
what did they-
nothing. They did
Really?
nothing. I ended up
601.
paying,
What
But
do you
all I'm
get
saying,
at
all I'm saying is,
Safeway?
Phil,
I ended up paying 601 because I caught the pump at the right time, I guess. But the guy on the other side of the pump was paying 610.
Okay, so my question here is, by a raise of hands, how many of you think that the rise in gas prices is Biden's fault?
Not me.
Well, you're the only one, Phil.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Drink.
Yeah.
You
And
you
there's some
guys
really
are
smart people
down on your
for
knees in front of Biden.
And baby formula isn't his fault.
Nope.
And the
I think
rise
it
in
might be.
the rise in food prices is not his fault, but I can hold him to fault for not doing something effective to curb all this.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying.
That's where that's
I
where
hold
yeah,
him-
that's
I hold
where
him-
I could blame Biden.
I can blame Biden for not going after the oil companies and tell them to knock the shit off.
Absolutely.
Yes. Why doesn't he? Is he afraid of them?
No,
Trump
it's the
didn't.
perfect storm for his battery agenda.
No, it isn't his battery agenda.
Trump was such a
What
big
he has stock in
fallout. Why
Duracell?
didn't he
What?
do it?
You know? No, you seem, I don't know, you got this thought from somewhere like Fox or I don't know who you're watching that it's got to be
like I
it's got to
said-
be that
like
it's his green agenda. No, it's not his green
Like I
agenda.
said in the past, all you got to do is look out the window and it'll be obvious.
He
It's
doesn't-
like,
he
is
doesn't-
it raining? Is it not raining? Is Biden fucking up the country? Look out the window. Yes, he is.
No, he's not. But he's not. He's not. You
Oh
know,
no, he's not.
you don't think
No,
Trump had
he's
some
not
you don't
fucking
think
up.
Trump had some complicity in all of this?
Alex, can you reach through and slap Phil?
I can't wait.
God.
Can't wait till Trump gets back in there and fixes
All
it.
right, Phil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he fixes
get Trump
everything.
back in there.
2024.
Get him back in there, he'll fix everything.
I don't think he'll
Hey,
be
I'm ultra MAGA.
I don't think he'll get nominated.
Yeah, maybe. I hope not.
I think
But
he's-
I'm ultra MAGA and
That-
proud of it.
that
Or
boy
is it,
have
as
to-
he says, MAGA? I'm ultra MAGA.
Well, you're not conservative and you're not a Republican because you wouldn't be any of those things and be MAGA.
No, I think.
I think
I'm
Trump's a
pro-Trump.
rhino.
I'm pro-Trump. That's what I am.
Trump is just a
Oh,
fucking
true.
asshole. Plain and simple. You know.
Everybody that raises their hand that agrees with Alex, raise your hand. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
kangaroo court.
The kangaroo court, yeah.
Boing, boing, boing.
I didn't even hear what you said, but everybody else raised their hand except for Phil, so I raised my hand.
Guaranteed. You
Well,
can't lose on
that's
that
it for
one.
tonight. That's it for tonight. Thank you, by the way, to Brian and to Kevin for calling later on, but calling and adding to our little crowd here.
I had to cut my vegetables. I got to drive to Lodi tomorrow. I need my vegetables.
You need your vegetables. Oh,
Come on, say
okay.
hi, quick.
Okay, quick. Hey.
Hey,
Say hi. They're going to say
Say
goodnight.
hi to
Good night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you, Phil. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Alan, and thank you, Jeff, and of course, thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Adrian. Oh, and Brian. Okay, and Adrian, and Brian, and Adrian, and
Your
Brian.
funny face.
And
Funny face.
Huh?
Your funny face.
He's a poop.
He's a poop.
That's
Okay.
bad where you can't see it.
and he's not even a Republican, and she's saying
Anyway, everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye back at you, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. Yeah, there they go. And Jack Bishop is next. He's going to have a new citizen panel. You just will call him using Skype, and the address is Gabnet Live, okay? That's it for tonight for me. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same station in life. So in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Night, everybody.